Ladies and gentlemen, entrepreneurs, dreamers, and doers, thank you for having me here today. It's always exciting to share my story, my ideas, and my jokes, because when you're a short guy like me, you need a sense of humor, especially when no one believes in you. And trust me, I know all about that. I've been laughed at, rejected, doubted more times than I can count. But look where I am now, standing in front of you, talking about success with more rejections under my belt than a guy on a bad dating app. So let's talk about what happens when no one believes in you. It's a tough topic, right? It's not exactly fun to think about the moments when everyone, including your closest friends and family, looks at you like you're out of your mind. But these moments are necessary. They are part of your story, part of the fire that shapes your success. My rejection stories are better than yours. You want to talk about being rejected? Look, when I was young, I failed my university entrance exams twice. Twice! I couldn't even get into a normal college. If it was baseball, I'd be benched for bad performance. Then I applied to Harvard 10 times. 10! I guess after rejection number 5, they didn't even bother reading my application. At least give me a rejection letter with a coupon for a Harvard sweater, right? But it didn't end there. I went job hunting thinking, okay, I may not be book smart, but surely someone wants me, right? Nope. I applied to 30 different jobs and got rejected from all of them. Even KFC, they hired 23 out of 24 people who applied, and guess who the 24th person was? Me! Imagine being less qualified than a bucket of fried chicken. But here's the thing, rejection doesn't mean you're a failure. It's a signal that you're different, that the path you're supposed to take is not the one everybody else is on. If I had gotten those jobs or gotten into Harvard, I wouldn't have become Jack Ma, founder of Alibaba. Instead, I would have just been Jack Ma, the guy at KFC who hands out chicken wings. The world doesn't owe you belief. Let's get one thing straight. No one is obligated to believe in you. You might be expecting people to cheer you on, say, oh, you're brilliant, you're going to be the next Steve Jobs. But most people are too busy worrying about their own lives to give you a standing ovation. This is life. And sometimes life feels like a giant, crowded subway, and you're trying to get on while everyone else is rushing past you. Newsflash, you don't need their belief. What you need is your own belief. Because when you're working on something revolutionary or different, the world has no reference for it. Of course, people will say, no, that's impossible, that's crazy. When I first talked about building Alibaba, people said, Jack, you're out of your mind. You think you can compete with eBay? You can't even sell a toothbrush online. Well, guess what? I didn't need their belief. What I needed was to believe in myself. Turn doubt into fuel. If you ever feel like everyone is doubting you, let me tell you this. That's a good thing. Yes, you heard me right. It's actually great when people doubt you. It means you're working on something they don't understand yet. It's like having a secret power, but they just haven't figured it out. Doubt should be like gasoline for your engine. The more they doubt, the more fuel you get. I remember when we were building Alibaba, I had 17 people on my team. We were in a tiny apartment, sitting on the floor, brainstorming about how we could change the world. None of us had any clue about how the internet worked. Seriously, I barely knew how to send an email. And yet we were talking about connecting millions of businesses globally. Do you know what they called us? The crazy guys in the apartment. Not exactly a name you want on your LinkedIn profile, right? But we didn't care. We used that doubt, that skepticism, to push ourselves harder. Every time someone said, Jack, this isn't going to work, it just made me want to prove them wrong even more. Here's my advice. Turn doubt into determination. When people say you can't, hear it as you must. If they say you're crazy, hear it as you're ahead of your time. Their disbelief is your rocket fuel. Failure is your best friend. Failure. The word everyone hates but no one can avoid. People treat failure like it's a contagious disease. Oh no, I failed. Let me hide in my room and never talk to anyone again. But guess what? Failure is your best friend. It's your personal coach, your mentor, your most honest critic. Look at me, I failed so many times that if I started a failure club, I'd be the president, CEO, and treasurer. But here's what you need to know. Each failure is a step forward. Every time you fail, you're one step closer to success. And when no one believes in you, those failures become even more valuable because they teach you things that belief in success never can. When Alibaba was starting, we failed all the time. We failed to get investors. We failed to make profits in the early days. But we kept learning. We kept evolving. Every failure taught us something valuable. Failure is like a mirror. It shows you exactly where you need to improve, and it forces you to face the truth, which is often more useful than blind optimism, the power of persistence. If there's one thing I want you to take away from this talk, it's this. Persistence beats talent. You might not be the smartest person in the room. I know I'm not. You might not be the most experienced or the one with the most connections. But persistence, that's something you can control. In 1999, when we were building Alibaba, we had nothing, no money, no technology, no contacts, just a crazy idea and a bunch of stubborn people who refused to give up. There were nights when I thought, maybe they're right, maybe this is too hard, but I didn't quit. You can doubt yourself, but don't quit on yourself. Those are two very different things. I always tell people, today is hard, tomorrow will be harder, but the day after tomorrow will be beautiful. The problem is, most people give up after tomorrow. They can't see the beauty that's just over the horizon because the struggle feels too big. But you have to hold on for that extra day, that extra push, that extra step forward. Why, it's funny that they don't believe in you. You know what's funny about people not believing in you? One day, when you succeed, they'll all say, "Oh, I always knew you had it in you." Suddenly, they were your biggest fans all along. It's like that friend who tells you they were at the concert, but you never saw them in the crowd. When Alibaba became successful, suddenly everyone was like, "Oh, Jack, we knew you would do it. We always believed in you." Really? You mean the same people who called me crazy, who told me to give up? Funny how success rewrites people's memories, right? But you don't need to hold grudges or point fingers when you succeed. Instead, be grateful. Be grateful for their disbelief because it made you stronger. It forced you to trust yourself and not rely on others for validation. Success isn't just about proving others wrong. It's about proving yourself right. Your belief is enough. At the end of the day, the only belief that matters is your own. Others may not see your vision, and that's okay. They might laugh at you, reject you, doubt you, and tell you it's impossible. But remember, impossible is just an opinion, not a fact. When I was younger, nobody thought a teacher from China with no technical background could build a global company. But I believed, and that belief was enough. So when no one believes in you, don't be discouraged. Be inspired. Because the world has a funny way of eventually catching up to those who dare to believe in themselves. Thank you. Keep believing, keep pushing, and one day they'll all be saying, "I always knew you could do it." Final thoughts. Stand tall when no one believes in you. Look, if I can leave you with one final thought, it's this. Success comes not to those who are believed in, but to those who believe in themselves, even when no one else does. The world is full of people who will doubt, who will question your every move, who will laugh at your failures. But your job isn't to make them believe, it's to prove to yourself that you can overcome the odds. When I started Alibaba, I was just like you, a dreamer. But I had one thing going for me. I refused to give up. I refused to let the doubts of others define me. And if I can do it, so can you. So, don't wait for belief from others. Create your own path, trust your instincts, and let the world catch up when it's ready. Because one day, when you've achieved your dreams, they'll look at you and say, "Wow, we didn't believe in them, but they believed in themselves." And that, my friends, is all that matters. Thank you, and remember, the world will doubt, but you don't have to.